times a year or something. So make sure you're not doing that.
How many people have like an old beater car that they came to college in? One. Yeah.
Everyone does.
Problems happen, you know. It's random, and it's always good just to have that money saved up.
Okay, so this is just more about savings. If you kind of think of savings on like a yearly basis, you're gonna have birthdays that come up, anniversaries, vacation, you know, random things that you know are gonna happen, but you need to like set aside money for them, because that's where you're gonna spend money more. You know, you're gonna spend more money in January when it's your birthday than you would in March when you've got nothing going on. So this kind of random example, they say save about $2,000, and if you divide that by 12, then you're saving like $165 every month more.
And then, you know, the special occasions that you get invited to, like weddings or baby showers or something like that, bachelor parties, anything like that that can happen that you get invited to.
Do you guys have any questions about budgeting, or we're gonna go on to credit cards, but no? Okay. So credit cards. There is a lot of different terminology that comes with credit cards, and it can get really confusing. First of all, does anyone know what APR stands for? Okay, it stands for annual percentage rate. So that's the rate that's going to be attached to your credit card that you're going to have to pay. So it's important to know every credit card company is going to have a different rate. So it's important to read in the fine lines what it is for your credit card. There's also going to be different rates that apply to your credit card as well. Variable rates, it may say, okay, this month it's 3%, but next month it's going to go up. So it's important to know that it's not going to be 3% the entire time that you have your credit card. It's actually going to increase or decrease. So that's important to know. Teaser rates, just kind of, what is that I said?
Teaser rates? Okay. How many people have seen like the Best Buy card where it says 0% interest for like 18 months? Or maybe a different card that offers the same thing. That's basically what's called a teaser rate. For the 18 months, you're not going to pay any interest, but then it might shoot up after the 18 month at like either 20 to 30%, which is a lot, especially depending on your credit score. But generally, we tell you to stay away from them unless you know you can make the payments for those 18 months. Because if you miss a payment or anything like that, or if you can't pay off the TV within those 18 months, all that back interest from the 18 months is going to balloon at the end, and you're going to have a massive payment. So unless you know you can absolutely pay off that card within that time, it's a good idea to stay away from the teaser rate. So.
Or like penalty rates. So if you don't pay on time, that they may increase the rate at which you are paying. There's all sorts of things that might be attached to your credit card. So read the fine lines. Maybe talk to someone before you sign up for a credit card. They've actually recently taken away where students can sign up for a credit card by themselves, which is kind of nice because it's getting students out of a lot of trouble for the future. Before, you were able to sign up and get as many credit cards as possible, and then you had all this debt and you didn't even know how you started there in the first place. So now you have to actually co-sign with someone older that has a credit history. So that's a new thing. Yeah.
I was going to say that only applies if you're getting your first credit card. After that, so if you've had a credit card by yourself, you're still eligible to get them by yourself. And a lot of people don't notice that.
Right.
Especially the longer you've had it, you know, you've had time to build up that credit score. So.
She's got one.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You said 20 or 30% is a bad rate. What would a good rate be?
We're going to talk about credit, like history and reports in a little bit. So we're going to answer your question. But let us know if you solve it when we get to it. Okay. Does anyone know the difference between a debit and a credit card?
Debit is attached to a checking account.
Yeah.
Credit card.
Okay.
Debit is your actual money, right?
Yeah.
The money that you already have.
Right. So it's like decreasing. Right.
Credit cards you borrow from someone else and you have to pay it back.
Yep.
But it isn't coming out of your account.
You guys got it. So basically these are just some things that we've kind of already touched on. Don't live outside your means. I know she talks about being frugal. It's hard to do in college, you know. There's so many options of, you know, you can go here, eat this, do whatever. But just be careful of that. Don't max out your credit card. Like we said, we're going to be talking about your credit reports. But if you actually spend like the whole amount of what you're allowed to spend on your credit card, then you might have a lower rate and you might be less eligible for purchasing a home or a car. So that's something to be careful about. Also be careful of late payments. I know, like, if you're not spending the money that you have, then you might get an extra charge for not having the money. Cutting up your card, just because if you cut up your card doesn't mean that you're done paying off all the payments. So make sure that you pay it before you just cut it up and throw it in the trash can. Have you guys seen that movie Shopaholic? Anyone seen that? Where she like puts the credit card in the freezer and she thinks that she's done spending it. It's just funny. Okay, here's another question.
The average senior graduates with how much credit card debt?
Oh, those are a lot.
41. Anyone else? Any other takers? It is 4,100. Most people that have credit cards that are students, they use it for tuition or buying their books or anything like that, that their student loans won't cover. So then at the end of school, they have all this back debt that they have to take care of. Before we talk about credit score, though, how many people have a credit card? I like asking this question. We got 2,
This is the
3.
student credit card?
Any credit card. Any credit card. How many of you have read the little contract that comes with the card? 1. So did you know what your APR was?
Yeah, it was one of the ones with 6 months of 0%, and then it jumped to 18.25.
8%? It's not bad. Not bad. I just want to go over that because, like, you know, it's really important that when you guys do apply for credit cards, it's important you read that and understand what's going to happen if you miss a payment, what the interest is going to shoot up to, or what you're going to be what your interest is going to be on that card that if you don't pay it off all the way.
And I think it's good to know it's not bad if you have one now, or good, like necessarily a good or a bad thing to have one right now. It's just something to be careful of to have one. You know, you're getting your credit score started now as opposed to those who don't have one, but it's also something you have to be wary of. If you don't have a stable job, then you might not be able to pay off that credit card. So it's something you have to touch base on an individual basis. So, yeah.
Next up, we had a credit score. Before we kind of go over this, your question was 20 to 30% bad on a credit card? That's just a little high, honestly. And if you're not paying off that credit card every month, you're getting charged that 20% interest every month. It's just money that you're paying on top of the amount of money that you took out every month. So it is a little high. The lower you can get, the better. So 8% was pretty good, but I have seen 4 or 5% and even 3% before on credit cards, which is a lot better. So, okay, so when you apply for a credit card, usually you have a limit on the card. So it could be $1,000, and say you have 20% for whatever amount you take out of that $1,000, and you don't pay it off at the end of the month. You're going to get charged interest on that amount that you don't pay off. So you're paying the credit card company the amount you took out plus interest on top. And that's why you want a lower interest rate, because if you can't pay it all off, or you're just making minimum payments on the card, then you're going to end up spending a lot of money just on interest.
And if you're pretty frequent on paying off your credit card, then you can actually call your company and ask for a lower rate. They'll usually lower it. So.
And a lot of people, when they first start up for a credit card, they usually have to get like a co-signer because they don't have any credit, which is what we're going to talk about right now. But credit kind of determines a lot of things like mortgages, student loan rates that are private, and then credit cards, obviously. So anyway, what's a good credit score?
So a good score. Does anyone really know what the range is of scores? Anyone? Nope.
Isn't it up to 800?
What'd you say?
Isn't it up to 800?
It actually increased. It's like
850.
yeah, 850 now. So we say that 730 is about a good score. No college students are going to have that good of a score. It takes a really long time to get a good score, so don't feel bad. This is just kind of how credit scores are broken down. The majority of it is payment history, so paying on time, and amounts owed, length of credit history, new to credit, and then types of credit use. Also, I don't know, you guys have probably seen those commercials where it says like free credit report, get right here.